Say again. Let's see if this stupid thing works. I guess it does. Did you hear it? Me neither. All right. You should be just about ready in 2 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for the two. One is the loneliest number. Good evening. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Just waiting for a few more people to come in. But if they don't show, we're going to rock this thing out. Weight broke the wagon. So, good evening. I'm your host, Greg, and welcome to another episode of Can We Real Talk? Today's topic is how to be effective, be, how to have change in 2025 and be effective. Uh, this is a topic that's really, really touching because every year people make New Year's resolutions. Well, resolution, short for resolve, but ultimately we want resolve, correct? So, if we, if anybody's watched my short on TikTok, uh, I was talking about a few things about bad energy and how people are treated today. I mean, things are just like haywire and at an all time high, just mass confusion. And if you're experiencing any of this, right? Here's the thing to it: to have effective change, we must be willing to change a number of things in our lives, um, people, habits. I mean, it's a whole list, and I want to know exactly how people are feeling about that because bad energy will just spoil everything around you, and this is true. I mean, I've been experiencing some really, really deep things. I'm going to touch on some of them, and some I won't. Uh, and if anybody has any questions, comments, please feel free to drop them in a box. And if you hear what you like and subscribe. So, here are some tools that I think can be effective. And you may agree or you may not agree. Like I said, change, true change, comes from self-assessment. We have to assess the things and the people in our lives because as hard as it is, change is very difficult for people. That's why a lot of people do not change. So to be effective in changing, like as I said, we have to remove things out of our life. I mean, we may be aware of things that trouble us and bother us, and we may shun them off and say, you know, I'll deal with it later. But the point of change is to take head on what may be affecting your change. So if that means anything that's toxic or not conducive to what you're trying to do, that's how we exact change. And in 2025, like I said, everybody is just, you know, it's the gym. I'm going to stop smoking. The only way to change is to do it. You have to go full throttle, just as we do anything else in life. For our job, for our children. If we have children, we need to exert that same energy on oneself. I use an illustration earlier, and in regards to synergy. And synergy is the energy within us to center ourselves. And if our synergy isn't good, we just let bad energy in. And some of it may be due to boundaries, you know, lack of mostly, you know. We allow people, the great Dr. Maya Angelou said, if a person shows you who they are, believe that's who they are. So we can't continue to make assignments with people and or things that can hold us back. This is how we change. I mean, we become stuck in ruts and patterns. And how do you break that cycle? I'd like to hear from you. I mean, I like to hear from some of the viewers. You know, how do you break the cycle of that? Well, for myself, I do a self-assessment. That's what I'm in the process of doing right now. I'm self-assessing uh, all the things that may be holding me back, and some things through this year I'm going to just have to cut off. And I see it. I may not want to, but for my well-being and for my mental health, hey, one is the first number. It's not zero. So it all starts with us. So I'm number one. And if I can't be well for myself, what kind of effective change can I create? There's zero. So family, friends, you have to self-assess who's an asset and who's a liability, right? Because people are afraid of change. And when they see you start to change, right, you'll see the true colors of them. Either they're for you or they're against you. Like I used an analogy, the onion technique, right? And the onion technique consists of peeling back the layers of yourself, right? Assessing yourself, looking at what works, what doesn't work, what's right, what's wrong. But as you peel those layers off, if anybody see my TikTok earlier, the more and more you peel off, the more and more is revealed. And there's going to be some pain in that process. You're going to cry. And like I said earlier in my TikTok video, so are the people around you who really don't mean you well. They're not crying because you're changing. They're crying because they can no longer continue to distract, disrupt, and just with their bullshit. And you have to understand these type of individuals, they're not well. So what do you do? What do you do once a week? I just want to ask everybody. It's something in your house you put out of it once a week, and that's trash. And that's what's holding you back. Put the trash out. Get rid of the motherfuckers. You don't need them. Like, in order for you to be the best you, you have to do you, invest in you, feel good about you. And a lot of people aren't and don't, but that's okay. We can get better with ourselves. It's just identifying the things that are in our path. This is why most people do not make it with New Year's resolutions because we start out gun ho, but we really haven't assessed the situation. Like, whenever we so-called make resolutions or want change, right? We have to do a total assessment. How do we get to that goal? What necessary steps do I need to take to be the best me? Well, first and foremost, the first thing on my checklist would be my mental health. How am I feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, right? This is the checklist we need, right? Because nobody's going to value you more than you. They may love you, they may support you, but you are your greatest asset, And when people start moving certain ways in your life, right? Just sit back and observe, right? I used to be so reactive to so many different things, right? But sometimes, boy, thanks for the blessings. If you just sit back, sit still, stay in the moment, watch people. All that you need to know will be revealed by their actions. Because people say, love is a word that is just slung around like, it means nothing no more. Oh, I love you. We just, it's just a misused word, in my opinion. You know, love is a verb. Love is action. Love is not what it says. Love is what it does. Keep that to the forefront of your mind, first and foremost. So if an individual is proclaiming to love you and want you to be a better you, they're going to support you in every means, every way they possibly can, right? Because if we're interested in something, invested in something, right, we give it time, we give it energy, and we give it positive time, positive energy, right? And we work on that process, right? So why not continue to work on ourselves, right? And being a better us in 2025, right? So my plan for 2025 is to like not only get my spiritual being back in place, my well-being, and my finances together, right? So that's a process. So how do I go about my process to be better in 2025, right? I worked in the field of recovery and mental health for some time. And like I would always tell my patients to for their well-being and to be healthy and doing whatever they're striving to do, right? If you've accomplished a goal and you're moving forward, right? And you're just pressing, and you're making that change, there's no need to look back, right? Because you've passed all of those things. You've passed Misery Lane, you've passed No Hope Street, and you've passed that no good motherfucker lane. And these are the things that we need to stay away from, right? It's the scripture in the Bible. It says it's like the dog goes back to his vomit. These are behaviors that we need to set ourselves free from, not continue to return to. You know, that's not change. That's just you're on a hamster wheel. You have to face what the reality is. You're just on a hamster wheel, and you're not going to move any further, right? So it's about a cleansing. It's about a cleansing of your mind, body, and spirit to have effective change. So I want to hear some comments and suggestions on what will people be doing this year. Like, what are your goals, and how do you plan to go on obtaining them? I'm open to all comments, suggestions, and I think an interchange of information. You know, the scriptures say, "Iron sharpens iron." I share information with you, you share information with me. You know, and there's always a trash bin right there, right? If it don't apply, you let it fly. But communication is key also in your change. You have to let people know where you stand. You know, you can't continue on that hamster wheel because as long as you do, this is what the hamster does. We all seen a hamster, right? He's running, he's running, he's running. When he gets tired, he gets off that wheel. What does he do? Drinks a little water, and he's back on the same wheel, running a never-ending race. So it goes back to my initial opening. You know, to create change and be effective with it, we have to do a total cleansing. Maybe even get rid of some people and some people that you thought you may have never thought about getting rid of. It hurts, but this is the only way you're going to get effective change. Because every smiling face ain't cheering for you, and every frowning face ain't against you. Remember that. You know, we just need to stay focused, be aware of your surroundings in 2025. There's so much shit going on. It's just crazy, and people. It just seems like it's just an evil spirit in the air around a lot of good people. I mean, I've seen a lot of good people personally that I know who are suffering injustices due to somebody else's bullshit. Who don't want to get well. I'm going to share a little story with you. I'm not going to get too in depth. You know, uh, and it's in regards to family, and it's kind of deep, but I'm willing to share because this is called "Can We Real Talk." So, a few days ago, my mother and I we have a very strained relationship. I love my mother dearly. My mother has mental health, and I'm sure she loves me. She just doesn't know how to effectively love me. I've strived for my mother's love all my life, but she has mental health issues, and I'm not going to just equate it to that. My mother is a perfect example of a person who is unwilling to change. Me and my sister and my family, we love this woman wholeheartedly. And I'm not dogging my mother. I love my mother, and anybody that knows me knows that I will do anything for my mother. But the point being is, I had to cut my mother off this year, literally. Like I've time and time again, I've given her chances, and it only affects me, my well-being. It's kind of stagnated me. And this is what I'm talking about, people. We have to be ready at all times. Am I cut my mother off totally? No. I will always check on her, make sure she's well and she's in a safe environment. But so far as her bullshit, I'm not tolerating it anymore. And that's my mother. So this is truly the start of a changing process for me. I identify with it. I understand it, and I'm good with it. I'll turn it over to my my God. And that's what I encourage anyone to do. If you're struggling, right, to be the best you, you see my example, how deep it is. I am literally having to cut off my own mother. Um, my mother's done some pretty mean things to me, some pretty mean things to our family. We love her all the same, and we understand that she has a condition, right? But here's the thing: even with my mother, I had to do an assessment. Is she manipulating the situation? I think so. I know my mother. I know my mother better than anybody. You know, um, I'm her child, and yes, she's very manipulative, and she's self-serving. But that's pretty much the base of our society. A lot of people are self-serving, very manipulative. And as I use my onion effect, right, and I'm peeling off layers and I'm peeling off layers because I'm gonna tell you something. I used to be the biggest piece of shit ever. I got to be honest. This is called Can We Real Talk? But through maturity and life lessons, right, and what they say karma, you know, I paid my debt for that. I'm forensic. I've spent a lot of time in federal prison and state prison, um, which was kind of a blessing for me because in that I was able to exact the change that I needed at that time to become the man that I am today. To be sitting here with you passing on this information, I was blessed to get a license and certifications and health and recovery. And this is my journey. My journey is to help, to reach out. You know, um, Everybody needs help. You know, my therapist tells me continuously, "Oh, heal or heal thyself." She says, "Greg, you give out the best information. What is wrong? Why are you stuck?" And I was stuck because, hey, what did I say? I was afraid of another change. I'm 55 years old. I'll be 56 January the 27th. And at this stage in my life, you know, I'm I don't move in so much fear anymore. I move by faith. You know, Here I am on YouTube. This was a faith move. I'm a startup, but this is how effective change starts. You just have to do it. Here I am sitting before you guys. And I thank the people that my three viewers that are here. I thank you and I truly appreciate you. Three to me is like 100 because I've reached somebody. It's not about a numbers game to me. You know, if I keep doing what I'm doing and passing on relative information, this thing will grow because those three will share with two more, and those two more will share with four more, and that's how we grow. You know, this is how change happens. This is how we can be effective in change. And I'm just using myself as an example so we can see. You know, um, Today I'm a totally different person. Like I felt something just maybe weeks ago. I just fell up under so much stress and duress, right? And I had to stop and I had to say to myself, you teach these life skills. Why aren't you following them yourself? So you can be the best you. So that's basically why I wanted to talk about being the best you in 2025. And I want people to understand that if you're giving your all, right, and it's not being reciprocated, or you feel as though you're being disvalued, right? Start your changing process and see, like, if you have a partner, significant other, somebody that's close to you, family, friends, See how they move around you, right? Again, that's where the onion effect comes in, right? You're peeling, you're peeling. You're going through all of these emotions, right? Like it's going to be times you're going to cry because it's things just this sometimes we don't want to face, but we have to face, right? Everything that we fear is right in front of us. We just have to be willing to face it, right? So as you're on your journey to change, right? And again, as you're peeling those layers off, you know, like I said, onion makes you cry, and you get into the fresher and fresher part of it. I said on TikTok, you're going to just stream. You're just going to stream. You're going to feel a feeling of, of just being overwhelmed, but a feeling of joy at the same time. If you can be true and honest with yourself, right? This is where effective change comes from. When you can do your self assessment, right? Because it allows you to see all your flaws and character defects. Are we going to completely change everything about ourselves? No. But we want to get rid of the toxic things that may be hindering us or holding us back. So again, to the onion, as you get to the fresher parts, more and more tears, right? Like I said, those that try to stand against you, you know, they're really going to be crying because they're going to see the change in you and they're going to see, right? You moving totally different. Like that you don't need them, right? And you don't need that stress or drama in your life. And it's going to hurt them. See, you don't have to be vengeful. You don't have to be vindictive, right? Because that person or those individuals in your life that are trying to create stress and drama for you, right? They are simply hurting themselves more and they don't understand it, right? And here's how they're hurting themselves because you're getting better, right? And they're just sucking themselves down. It's like fucking quicksand. They're just sucking themselves down in more mire and muck or whatever the fuck they want to live in. That's where they're at, right? So you don't have to do anything to them. You shine. You be the best you. You continue your process, taking your steps, right? It's not an easy thing. You may take one step and fall seven back. I've done it. I've done it just recently, you know. But I am going to continue to push forward. I am going to continue to make forward progress. And I wish everybody that's listening or may hear this well. Remember, right? Don't be vindictive, right? Pray for those. Remember, some are sicker than others. I pray for my mother constantly. She's a, I love her. I love the woman, but she's just a mess. And if she ever sees this, oh my gosh, I'll be the worst son ever. But hey, you can't know 100% of the truth with only knowing 15% of the facts. And, you know, I have people that can attest to just how poorly, you know, I've been treated by my mother. And, this is a break free moment for me. It is. It is. It's 2025, you know, 55, the 27th, I'll be 56. And it's time for some effective change, you know, some major life changes. It's not about making a resolution every year, right? It's about what's going to be effective for years. You know, that's true change. We don't want to stop smoking and start smoking 6 months later, or you know, we don't want to stop whatever we're doing and return to it, right? So how do we do that, right? In order to do that and be successful doing that, right? You have to go back to all of those toxic things. Remove them, do away with them. You know? I'll give you another story. And it kind of hurts. Uh my children. I have a very strange relationship. I have three children. I have two other children that I've raised and called me dad. Um, my children are very, very entitled. I remember coming home in 2018 when I came home after 11 years. Uh, I tried to reacclimate with my children, but I did it in all the wrong ways. Right? It was just a financial thing, and I went financial, 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 any and everything they wanted. And what did it get me? A bunch of heartache, basically, a bunch of disrespect because I'm not a hitter. I've never hit any of my children. I'm a taker. So right now, I kind of even had to ice my children. Like disrespect, I will not tolerate. I will not tolerate. My wallet doesn't open for disrespect, and I'm a firm believer in if you reward bad behavior, where's the reward, right? So, I've stopped and tried to reconnect with my children a few times, uh, but I'm not going to support a child who's smoking marijuana, who who cuts school, who bullies other children, and when I try to chastise this child or talk to him man to man, I have someone upholding him in wrong. So it's defeated. So I had to step back from my mental fortitude and well-being. You know, it's like punching a brick wall with that situation, and I find that, and I'm not understanding why. You know, um, my two sons, whom I've done everything for, and people will attest to that as well. Feel as though they could treat me like shit. I understand that I was going to a major portion of their lives, and I accept that was it was my fault. I don't, I'm not placing blame anywhere. See, this has changed because before I would have been like, I did, I would have played the victim. There's no victims in it. My children were the victims. And I did understand that. And I tried everything that I could, effective communicating with them, nothing. You know, it was just, it's a blow. It's a blow because I really miss my sons and my daughter, and I love them. And I hope that somehow, some way, that they will see this and understand that I truly love them. But one thing I will not do is be disrespected. I've shown them respect. I'm the father, and I bet, I've done everything, compromised, you know, but here's the thing. This is a part of my change process. It's a part of my change process. You know, I pray for them. I check on my children. They don't even know it. I check on them, and I know that they're in a good place. Um, I like us to be in a better place. I like to spend time with my children, but they're gone. They're just in their world and in that world. So I'm just giving examples of how I have changed, and how change is a process beyond 2025, right? So I encourage everybody, that will see this or that will hear my voice, right? Be the best you in 2025. It all starts with you. You're number one. Like I said, one is the first number, right? Stand on what you believe, right? And when your gut is telling you something, I said this as well in my TikTok video, right? When your gut is telling you, always follow your first notion, right? Because that, what they say, that and all of that, it's from your brain. That's a protection mechanism. It's a known fact. It's a scientific fact that when you feel something's off, it's off. You know, you know. Again, remember what the great Dr. Maya Angelou said. When people show you who they are, that's who they are, right? I write quotes. And one of the quotes that I wrote is, there's only three people that we'll ever meet in life, right? And I was so riled up with one of my children one day. I'm like, God damn it, this won't change. And I was sitting there, I was right. And I think everyone that hears my voice will agree with this, right? There's only three people we're ever going to meet in life. You know who they are? Those who want to change, those who will change, and then those who do not how to fucking change. That's the only three people you'll ever meet in your life. Believe me, right? So if somebody is really for you, want to see you strive, that significant other, that family member, right? You'll know by the way they're moving around you, right? Um, you'll see it. You'll see it. Remember, sometimes it's just better to be silent. You don't have to be combative and argue your point or, refute everything that's said to you, right? This is your greatest asset, your brain, right? And God gave you 2 ears and 1 fucking mouth to do more listening than talking. Remember that as well, right? So, I wanna thank everybody who joined me, you know, thank you, and, I plan to do another live stream on Sunday, you know, I wanted to do the perspective of women on love, sex, love, and relationships. That was supposed to be my very first actual live stream. What does it look like for women and men in 2025, right? Because I want a lot of ladies to know, right? And a lot of men gonna hate what I say, right? A lot of us dudes is fucked up. A lot of dudes is fucked up, and so is a lot of girls. I'm not gonna make this one sided, right? If somebody's not meeting your energy, right, they ain't worth your fucking time. Stop wasting your time because time is of the essence, right? Don't waste your time because nothing is going to change unless you make it change. That's how you exact change. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I look forward to putting out more content. And again, if you like what you heard, hit like and subscribe. And this is your boy G's, and I thank you for joining me. And everybody have a good night. Thank you. Okay. Here.